Hi, I'm David, and I've been at Daytona for 6 weeks. I'm part of the platform team, and this morning I got a ticket. Add a new sandbox type to the API. Okay, I roughly know where the API lives. I touched it once. But the ticket says I also need to update the backend daemon, the dashboard, the CLI, and all the SDKs. I've never even been in half of those. And this last line, ensure no downstream breakage. This is a platform with 12 services, a CLI, a web dashboard, and SDKs in 4 different languages. I don't even know what's downstream. Normally, my next 2 hours looks like this. I search for sandbox and get hundreds of results scattered across the codebase. I open files one by one. I try to figure out which connections actually matter. Eventually, I message someone who's been here since day one and ask, hey, what actually depends on this? Let me now show you what I do instead. All right, let's see what I'm dealing with. This is the Daytona codebase. Legend helped me build this by analyzing the actual source code, every import, every connection between the files. Nobody drew this diagram and no one maintains it. It's generated directly from the code. Okay, here's the API. This is where my change will start. And there's the backend daemon right next to it. Look how thick the line is between them. That's thousands of real code references going in that direction. And there's another link coming back the other way. Those two are heavily coupled. And look what else connects to the API. The dashboard over here, the SDK libraries, the client packages, they all flow through the API. My simple change is going to ripple through all of these. 6 weeks ago, I would have found this after my push request broke CI in 3 different places. Now I know before I write a single line. All right, let me zoom into the pieces. Now I can see inside these services. Here's the sandbox module. That's the piece I need to change. And over there is the daemon. There's the provisioning module it talks to. Look at all these connections going out from it. It talks to the login system, to permissions, to notifications, and to the daemon for actual provisioning. That's 4 things I need to keep working just within the backend. And over here on the dashboard side, the UI that shows sandboxes is pulling from generated client code that wraps my API. If I change the API, the client breaks, the dashboard breaks, and the user sees it. The detail panel gives me the summary, what this module does, how it's built, how it connects to it. 6 weeks in, I've never had this kind of clarity about a part of the codebase I didn't write. Wait, this is even worse than I thought. Okay, see those red highlighted loops? Those are circular dependencies. A depends on B, and B depends right back on A. The sandbox module calls the daemon for provisioning, but the daemon calls right back into the sandbox modules for state. They depend on each other in a loop. This is why changes here are dangerous. I can't just
Before
update one
this,
side.
you'd start
to change something in the sandbox, the daemon needs to discover circular dependencies the hard way.
pushing data
Spend
back
2
in.
days untangling it,
coordinate
and then
both
find
at the
another
same
one.
time.
Now I'm looking at all of them before I've written a single line of code. All right, let's ask something specific. I want to understand exactly what this module does and what it depends on. Okay, so it handles the full lifecycle of sandboxes, creating them, deleting them, checking status. It stores data in a database. It calls the daemon for provisioning, and every option gets logged. 3 integration points I need to keep working. Now I'm ready to work on my ticket and hand this off to my agent. All right, I have a plan. I know what I need to change, and I know what's going to be affected. But I'm not actually going to manually trace every connection across hundreds of files. I'm going to let my agent handle the mechanical refactor. The problem is, my agent doesn't know what I just learned. If I just tell it, add a GPU sandbox type, it'll update the obvious parts. I won't know about the circular dependencies with the daemon. It won't know the generated client code needs generating. It won't know that every sandbox operation gets logged and those logs need to include a new type. This export tells everything I was just looking at, what this module does, how it's built, and every module connected to it. Their details too, all in one structured file. This is what I feed to Cloud Code before it starts. Here's the module, here's what depends on it. Here's the circular dependencies, here are the integration points. The agent isn't guessing about the system anymore. It has the same picture I just built. Or I can export the full system, all 12 services, all 23 modules, every connection in one file. I can drop it in the repo as permanent architectural context. Every agent on every task starts with this understanding. That's the difference between an agent that changes one file and an agent that understands the system. Let me show you the alternative. Without this, my morning looks like search for sandbox, get hundreds of results across 4 languages, open files one by one, try to mentally piece together what connects to what, discover the circular dependency after my refactor breaks both services, message the dashboard team to ask if they use the sandbox type directly. Maybe by Wednesday I have enough context to start writing code. With Legend, I had a full picture in 5 minutes. I found the circular dependencies before it found me. I saw my change ripple across the daemon, the dashboard, the CLI, and 4 SDK languages. And I exported a context package so my coding agent could do the refactor with the full blast radius mapped. The code didn't change. It's still 12 services across multiple languages. The difference is I could see it.